Greetings. It's another beautiful weekend of the month. This is the last weekend in the month of April. It's just amazing how time is slowly, fastly drifting away. It was just a few months ago. It feels like a few weeks when we rode into 2025. Now we're in 2026, and before you know it, 2027 will be knocking on your door. So this is your host Noah Ndlovu on Kuchalo Diaspora Connect. We are having conversation, and today I'm joined, of course, with my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Katuta, who is blasting off on the airwaves on the Zambian front. Mr. Katuta, how are you doing that side?
I am doing very well, Mr. Ndulova. How are you doing on your end of the world?
Oh, today it's very bright and sunny. It's just so far so good. At least we are happy that there isn't any bombings going on the other side of the world. But so far so good.
Mm.
So far so good.
Yeah, a little grace is all is what we need right now. When you're having these heartbreaking incidents happening around the
Hmm.
world, it's very difficult to absorb. But whenever we have some type of a ceasefire, I think it's a slight relief. It's not the relief we want, but we'll take it for now, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We get what we can get since we have no stake in the game in terms of influencing the key players. All we can do is to watch from afar
Right.
and hope for the best. Yeah,
Yes.
so there's a lot happening on the Zambian front. The elections are coming up August 2026. Cabinet is soon to dissolve, I think, in a few weeks' time from now. And the
Mhm.
campaigns will be up and running. People will be, the candidates will be out there doing what they want to do, making promises. We hope that things uh, continue
We,
on a positive front. Any thoughts on that?
I just you mentioned a very good word. Candidates are making promises, and I was going to make a joke and say promises they can't keep. But there are some, in my experience, that I've noticed that keep their promises. So let's just hope that we get candidates in office that will keep their promises. It's all we can hope for, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think it's interesting. I don't know why politics, in a way, tend to work out the way it works out. People promise, and then when they go into these offices, then I don't know, things start looking the other way. I can talk for instance, the president here in the U.S., President Trump, promised no wars, but for some reason there are wars out there, and you wonder why politicians say one thing and do the other. And people say there could be other. They are sort of like hell. Their hands are tied, and some of these
Mhm.
things is they have no say. But at least that's not the case for Zambia. Zambia is a peaceful nation, and obviously there are those typical politics in Zambia where they are buying chitenges, they are giving to our people, and our people are excited with those things. And that at least it's sort of good and bad because it's not the violent type of campaigns. But unfortunately, there was that type of an I would call uncivility type of politics when there were people running around with pangas. If you wear green or if you wear red, if you wear this political party, then you are persecuted. But I'm happy that I think we haven't seen this under the UPND leadership. So I'm happy for that. Well, any thoughts on that? How things have sort of drifted to where we are right now, Mr. Katut?
Well, I would say this, Brother Noah. I think that when people say politics is a dirty game, in Africa, it is literally a dirty game. In the Western world, you get people disagreeing on policies or whatever it is that they stand for. So you get a lot of dirt digging, where you find candidates find dirt on their opponents, and they try to smear their names in order for them to gain popularity over their opponents. In Africa, particularly Zambia, I wasn't here when the incidents of the panga wielding maniacs was going on, but I'm here now, this for the first time witnessing an election here, and there's no such a thing. You do get some unruly people that are driving around in vehicles making a lot of noise, but we keep our fingers crossed that these don't escalate into some violence. But you're going to get that. You not the violence. I mean, you're going to get uh, the fights, if you will. You're going to get people disagreeing on many things. And the one thing that I will commend the president here, President Hakainde Hichilema, is that he's very clear and vividly clear when he talks about or talks to his supporters to say, I do not want violence. I do not want us attacking our opponents. I want us to disagree peacefully. So, and he says, those who will do harm to the opponents or to the opposing candidates will face severe charges. Yes, yes. So at least he stands firm on that. I don't know how the previous presidents handled their supporters in that regard, but he is very adamant about telling his people, his supporters, to be civil and not to be violent. So that's a good sign.
Oh yeah, it's always good when the leader can stand up and be on the right side of history and reprimand where necessary, not necessarily just tolerating things as long as they are or helping or siding with your political party aspirations or plans and all that stuff. But at least I'm happy that there isn't that type of for lack of a better word, that type of nonsense going on. So for those who are just joining us, this is Diaspora Connect. If you have a comment, question, you can put it in the chat. Or if you are watching on YouTube, you can just type it up and then we'll be able to stream it on our show. And also, if you're on Facebook, this is a time to share with your friends, your best friends, your haters, your uncles, your aunties, your grandparents, because we are living at a time where our grandparents, they are also on social media. They are taking Snapchat. They are taking all these pictures, posting, so it's good. So share with your grandparents. So I'm happy to bring up our guest. We have a special guest who is joining us from the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates. We haven't had a guest from United Arab Emirates, but today we are fortunate enough to have this gentleman, Mr. Benson Chibuye. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Mr. Njovu and Mr. Jimmy?
Very well, thank you.
We are good, good. Yeah, so United Arab Emirates. Tell us a little bit for people who don't even know, where is United Arab Emirates?
Okay, so United Arab Emirates is in Western Asia. It is actually mistaken for Dubai. People think as if Dubai is a country, while it is not. So United Arab Emirates consists of 7 emirates. So it's more like the United States. Now, for us here, it's like the United Arab Emirates. It's more like a lot of emirates being put together and then being run by one person. So those 7 emirates, just to mention a few, consist of Dubai, which is the popular one, and then there is Abu Dhabi, where I am, which is the capital, and there's Sharjah, where a lot of things, like these guys who sell phones and everything, that's why they go to like market their things and buy their stuff. So I would say United Arab Emirates is in I would just say it's the Middle East, the most popular like destination for tourism and all that stuff.
That's good. Good to know. Good to know. At least even for me, I thought Dubai. So like it's like Chicago. Most people think Chicago is a state, not knowing that Chicago is just a city in the state of Illinois. Yeah, so thank you for that. So how long have you been there?
I've been here for almost 8 months now.
8 months. Oh, okay. So are there a lot of Zambians on that front, that side?
Surprisingly, yes. So,
Like what are the numbers
yeah,
like?
so I would say estimatedly, like in total, we might be reaching like almost 15,000 estimatedly.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yes, but you normally find a lot of them in Dubai because they think as if Dubai is better than the other Emirates, whereas Dubai is actually the second.
Oh, so in terms of infrastructure, because we hear so much about Dubai, we don't hear. I know about Abu Dhabi, but we don't hear so much about other Emirates. I guess people just love Dubai.
Okay, so the thing is about these Emirates, what they normally run is that each Emirate has got its own ruler, right?
Oh,
So so the ruler of Dubai, according to his I saw something about his podcast. He was saying when he was young, he was taken to the US by his father, and he stayed there for a while. So he adapted to that situation of he wanted Dubai to be more like the United States. So if you've noticed, a lot of buildings, these newly constructed buildings, are more in Dubai than any other emirate in the United Arab Emirates.
I see. I see. Mr. Katuta, you wanna jump in?
I have been to Dubai myself. It's a beautiful, it's an amazing, amazing city, if you will. It's one of those things that you hear, especially people in Zambia that are dealing in mining. I hear that Dubai is the preferred destination for people who are looking to sell their gold, their gemstones rather, particularly emeralds. They prefer Dubai. I don't know why. I would think that countries like the US or the UK, Canada would also be chosen, but for some reason they say that there's a lot of red tape, if you will.
Mhm.
This is what I hear on the ground. People say the reason they choose to take their products to Dubai is because the the regulations are very accommodating to business as it regards to mining. So I would like to hear more from Benson. I know you've only been there 8 months. Have you experienced anybody in the mining area? For instance, I hear that there are a lot of refineries. There are a lot of gold refineries there. So people in the gold industry, when they get gold, they tend to take it to Dubai. Have you heard any of that over there?
Yes, that's true. I've heard a couple of people stating that for a fact that like we all know, the UAE, preferably Dubai, is a tax-free region. So whatever that you do with your business or your any other thing that you prefer doing, what you get is what you take. So people tend to run to the UAE. I think in regard of, I don't know, I would say like lack of better term, I would say dodging tax. I don't know if that's the correct term.
Mhm.
Yes. So I've also had like people in IT. They also mentioned it the same way, saying the reason why people come to the UAE for business and other things is that UAE is open to everything, and UAE is very accommodative of every person, every race, and every color of people. So, and then surprisingly, the UAE consists of 20 Arabs, 20% of the actual owners of the country, and 80% of foreigners.
Okay, so what if I may ask, what area of industry are you in? What
I'm
is your
in hospitality, like
hospitality?
hotels, restaurants. Yes.
Okay, so the reason I asked that question is because I'll be starting lecturing at a school here, and I'm just trying to find. I'm doing my research right now, so when I hear of areas like Dubai, I'd like to find out if there was a Zambian here that is looking to do business in Dubai. What area would you recommend that they focus in? I know that hospitality is a big business over there, like Las Vegas. I lived in Las Vegas for a very long time. My family is still there, so I would like to find out what is the safest area of industry that if a Zambian wants to do business in Dubai, like people say, if you want to sell merchandise. You go to China, you buy your merchandise, you bring it here. If someone were to come to Dubai to buy something they can sell in Zambia, what would you recommend they do? Or what would they focus on? What should they focus on?
I would say they would focus more on IT because that's
Okay.
the best selling thing here. Like it's preferably the fastest
Hmm.
because other sectors are, let's say for instance, you say I I've got my closest uncle who is in Dubai.
Hmm.
He's actually running for MP for Congo. He started saying instead of only us Zambians and fellow Africans running for IT, he wants to divert things and focus on agriculture. So he said it's going to be a very, very long walk to that destination, but hopefully maybe a year or two from now might be in that. But for now, as of today, if I would recommend someone starting up a business, coming from this region, I would say let him go like the way China does it. I would say so.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Over to you, Brother Noah.
Yes, yes. So if you are just joining us, we are having a conversation around uh, Zambians making meaningful and great things in and around the world. So we are joined today by our friend from United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. His name is Mr. Benson Shibuye. So if you have a question, you want to put it in your chat, and we'll be able to bring it up on our screen here. So if you have a question, feel free to pop it up on the chat, and then we'll bring it up here. So sit back and relax. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Kuchalo, your leading online hub for Zambians at home and abroad. Kuchalo is a trusted source of news, lifestyle, and practical information tailored for Zambians near and far. What we are: a platform designed by Zambians for Zambians and friends of Zambians. Tight-knit, inclusive, and Ubuntu-powered. We bring you the latest news, travel and tourism insights, investment opportunities, educational resources, and uplifting diaspora stories. A community-focused, non-political space celebrating our heritage. What we offer: community stories, diasporans making an impact, a bias-free zone, calm, factual, resonance over sensationalism. Our approach is Ubuntu first, content that strengthens community, celebrates heritage, and brings people together. Clarity, relevance, and inclusivity. Voices from Zambia and the global Zambian family. Where you'll find us: in Zambia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between. Kuchalo keeps you informed, connected, and inspired. Join the Kuchalo community today.
All right, join the community, Kuchalo, like and follow our page. And we are continuing the conversation with our friend from Western Asia. Mistakenly, when we were in school, and most people still refer to it as Middle East. There's no such thing as Middle East, it's Western Asia. Russia is the eastern part, and the western side is mistakenly called the Middle East. Just like Europe is not a continent. Europe in school, you are told that Europe is a continent. It's not. Take it from me, say Noah says it's not a continent. You can take that to the bank. Europe is just a small peninsula. A continent is a large piece of land like Africa. And also, I think African people need to push for the redrawing of the map because I think there is this notion that Africans have to wait to get approval from others because when you look at the way our continent is depicted, it's depicted like it's a smaller place, like the country USA is more like on the same size as the African continent. That's not the case. So some of these things, like they say, a picture tells 1,000 words. When you look at the picture, you conclude that, oh, the America or Greenland is equally the same size as Africa, but that's not the case. That was by design, but we are not going to spend so much time on that. But you can take it to the bank that Europe is not a continent. Europe is more a peninsula. So we as African people need to ensure that when we are teaching or coming up with a curriculum, it has to speak and address the injustices that is still being perpetrated in our education system. Yeah, so Africa is a huge, huge continent. The US fits in there twice and some change. You can put the country of India, which has 1 billion plus people, fits into Africa. Plus, you can put a country of China, which has 1 billion plus people. It fits into Africa. You can put the US, which has over 300 million people. They fit into Africa plus change. You can put the whole Caribbean into Africa and it fits. So, but when you look at the drawing, it speaks to most people like, oh, Africa is a small place. It's the same. It's not. It's a huge continent. So anyway, let me not digress so much. Let's get back to our conversation here. Mr. Chibuye, I know you mentioned that you have a colleague who will be joining up here, Mr. Banda. So we are waiting for Mr. Banda to chime in. So talk to us. I know there are some limitations on what you can say because in as much as people say we live in a free world where you can say what you want, that's not the case. You cannot say what you want. You may think, you may wish, but there are limitations. People will tell you they will talk about free speech, democracy. You can say what you want. That's not the case. There is no country where you can say what you want. For instance, you cannot criticize certain countries even if there's free speech, or you cannot say anything about certain things. So it is just in theory that you have quote unquote democracy where you say what you want. So with that backdrop, Mr. Chibuye, tell us a little bit what you can say about the happenings in there. I know now there is a pause on the war. What can you tell us? You've been there the whole time this fighting has been going on. Share with us what you are able to share.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Njovo. So the current state of affairs of this region is that Iran is retaliating. Now the issue is going to neighboring countries because Iran feels as if their greatest enemy, which is your country right now, has invested more money in other foreign nations. So in doing so, Iran is trying to destroy each and every um, building, plants, and each and everything that was built with the US money, so to say. So, in doing so, people have been up and down running, trying to find peace treaties, sign peace treaties, talking about ceasefires, which currently we are facing a ceasefire, but it's just a temporary thing, which we all know, and it's yet to break, and maybe it's not broken as we speak.
Okay, at least right now, so far, there is no bombs falling anywhere, right?
Yes, currently we are okay. We are okay. There are no bombs. But prior to this, we have been facing a lot of challenges, especially that uh, if you speak about kids, they're being, I don't know, lack of better terms, I would say kids are even fearing going outside to do their day-to-day lives because you can clearly see bombs flying through your head, broad daylight.
Mm.
So it's very, very terrorizing, especially for me when the first time as a Zambian, in Zambia, you don't experience those kind of things. So the very first time I saw those kind of things, it was like, wow, this is not, I don't know, this is next level. So people are living in fear, and then the UAE is so advanced that each and every SIM card that they sell you, and they would love to communicate about any information. Each and every person across the UAE receives it at the same time. Let's say, for instance, I'm in Abu Dhabi, Sila region, which is surprisingly near the Strait of Hormuz, where
Mhm.
all the tension is happening. So, if there are any bomb threats, we receive notifications from our phone. Like it comes as if your phone has been hijacked, whereas it will start buzzing as if it's an alarm. So it will draw your attention, saying, and then a message will pop up saying, there are some bomb threats. Please stay in shelters. Don't be near any falling items and stuff like that. So it's been crazy 2 to 3 months, I would say, but God willing, all things comes to pass so that we can just move on with life the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, so have you had an opportunity to go into some of those shelters? Like, how is it like inside there, the bomb shelters?
Okay, for me, I haven't because normally whenever those things happen, maybe I might be at work or maybe I might be busy doing other stuff. So they actually advise if you're not near any, just stay indoors, maybe find any other place you might be because what's happening is that whenever the Iranian government fires or strikes any building nearby,
Hmm.
the UAE is intercepting those bombs. So now the things that are falling from the sky, those are called now debris. Those are the ones causing casualties and fatalities. So
Okay,
now people being people, they love to start screaming those things, trying to hold them. That's why now they are being victims of their own doing.
okay, okay. No, that's good. That's it's so it's mostly the debris coming after these interceptors have intercepted these missiles, and then okay, okay.
Correct. So, Mr. Sanjobu, bear in mind that these tensions they didn't happen overnight. These
Hmm.
tensions come from as far as 1979, you can imagine. So it has been something that has been behind, long overdue, cooking up every day. So until everyone was like, we can't do this no more, let's go in, let's see what we can fetch out, and here we are now.
Yeah, interesting to know. But at least I know most of the countries in the Western Asia, they have been preventing pictures circulating, people taking pictures online. They don't want anything to circulate out there. Is that the case also for where you are?
Yes, actually, that is the case everywhere. So the thing is, the UAE government is trying their very best not to be involved in whatever is happening between Iran, Israel, and the United States. So what people are doing is that you know how AI works, right?
Mhm.
People are just being creative. They create tensions which are not there. Like there was this photo that I saw, like I think a month or two ago, that there was a major strike in Dubai, one of the most popular hotels in Dubai. It was struck by a drone, which was not the case. So the person who was trying to escalate those information was actually apprehended and was paid huge fines. So that's why
Mhm.
the UAE government said you only post things when it is authorized by someone to post, not even
Mm.
on WhatsApp statuses or Facebook, because you might be fined. As of today, the fine is 10,000 dirhams, and that's a lot of money.
I was actually going to ask that, Benson. That was going to be my next question, and I'm glad you answered it because I was going to say the hotel that was bombed by, or rather, that was a result of a drone attack. Were any casualties there? So you're telling the public that that actually did not happen, right?
You know, it did not, Mr. Katuta. It did not.
That is good to know because it's very dangerous when people put out propaganda like that because that's what creates what you call internal terrorism, right? So imagine if somebody from that area, from that region, is in the United States and they hear that, and if they're radicalized, which happens in most cases, somebody could go and attack the U.S. thinking that they attacked his nation. So that is good to know. I wonder why, because this was on major TV networks, including CNN and other people. I wonder why they haven't retracted that, or have they retracted that information? Are you aware of that?
Um, no, I'm not fully aware if they did retract that information, but what I heard was all the news outlets that were spreading those information was sued. Don't know if that's old news now, but
Hmm.
that's what I heard because you cannot um, publish something that you have not verified. You only
Hmm.
publish things that are verifiable. And the UAE has clearly mentioned saying if you need any information concerning this, you can follow the UAE news outlet or there's a news company that's called Royal News. It focuses more on the Western Asian countries. Like normally, it operates like Al Jazeera, but it's not Al Jazeera. That's where you can get the key detailed information about what's happening across the Western region with regards
Uh,
to the war happening.
Well, on a lighter note, Benson, I've been wondering what happened to all these Zambians that were going to Dubai because everybody has stopped. There used to be a lot of content on TikTok, especially. You see people in boats or rather on boats in Dubai out during the night, and I'm thinking they heard about that attack at the hotel, and suddenly people have stopped traveling. So I guess now I hope people will start traveling again, not knowing that Dubai is not uh, in danger as previously thought. Because Dubai, I think personally, I think that Dubai. I've been there a few times, and it's such a beautiful city. It's one of those places that you have to go there to experience it. It's such a nice. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's very expensive. You can't go there when guys like Benson. But they can survive over there. If we are retired, find myself in Dubai, you can find yourself homeless over there, But it's a very it's one of those cities that is very welcoming, and you can really enjoy it if you have the means. And just so you know, for the audience, Zambia has a very good relationship with the United Arab Emirates, and it's one of those things that we, as Zambians, especially those of us who are in business, it's very important that we connect with people like you, Benson, who are on the ground, because what we are sharing here is valuable information, especially for the business people to know that we can still go do business in Dubai. They're a country that is supporting Zambia. Many other countries are supporting Zambia. And to sort of digress a little bit, if I may, Brother Noah, one of the things that I'm enjoying, one of the things I'm enjoying in Zambia is the development, the drastic development that's happening. If you look, I don't know if you can see behind the house, you can see there's still construction going on. You can see behind it's unpainted, but most of the appliances we get from that area. If you want to get good quality appliances, cabinets and things like that, you buy from UAE and South Africa, of course. Not to take anything from South Africa, but I like to always create competition, because competition not only stimulates good customer service, it also stimulates good business. So the fact that Dubai is staying out of this war, or rather the UAE, let me not just say Dubai. I keep saying Dubai because obviously of the relationship I have there. But the fact that they're staying out of this war is good news for us as Zambians, not to mean that we are not concerned about what's happening in the Middle East, but we have to remember geopolitics are fine, but at the moment, my concern is Zambia, And while you're there, Benson, keep that in mind. While you're there, you are a student of Zambia, right? Whatever it is that you're doing there, you're there to acquire knowledge, that you can ultimately bring to your country. And that is why, no, I was telling you, I'm taking on this teaching. It's a teaching job. I'm retired, as you know, but I was asked to teach entrepreneurship. And this is something I'm doing because, as you know, I've been a businessman in the US for over 30 years. And I've been looking for a way to give back to my country. And I thought about getting into politics. And I figured, the thing with politics, Benson, is a guy like me, if I got into politics, I believe I'm too honest to be in politics. I believe, going back to what Brother Noah was saying, why is that people make promises and then once they get into office, they don't seem to keep their promises? I believe that once they get into office, they find things that they were not aware of when they were aspiring to be candidate, to be whatever it is that they were running for. And then once you get into office, you find that the corruption, especially the corruption in Zambia, it's so sickening. It's sickening, and its roots are so deep, you don't even know where to begin to attack it, because there's so much corruption in this country that something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. It's a plague. It's a cancer that is deteriorating our economy, because there are a lot of hardworking Zambians in this country. There are a lot of law-abiding business people in Zambia, but just to go to PACRA, where you register your company, just that process alone, to just get your company registered, it's a nightmare, and it shouldn't be. They have streamlined it to like it is in the US. They have streamlined it to a point where you're supposed to do it online, but for some reason, they deliberately, I believe, they deliberately block your application so you can actually call someone and bribe them so they can push your application through. But what they don't understand is that they are impeding the progress of our nation. Our nation is vibrant. We have, I can't think of anything that Zambia doesn't have as far as business opportunity goes. Okay? We are land linked. We have all these countries that are around Zambia, Mozambique, Angola, Botswana, Congo, Zimbabwe, all these countries that are on our borders. These are countries that can funnel their products through Zambia in and out. So what we need are people that have the courage to take on a business and say, look, I know being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. It takes a lot because you don't have a paycheck at the end of the month to expect. But it gives you an opportunity to actually dictate your own value. When you work, the person you're working for is telling you what your value is. How do they do that? By telling you what they're paying you. So if they tell you, we'll pay you $20 an hour, they're telling you you are worth $20 an hour, right? But if you're self-employed and you say, I want to make $50 an hour, you are dictating your own value. And that's the important thing that we need to understand. So when I see young men who travel outside of Zambia, it gives me hope. So we hope that you will not only learn over there, but you also keep the heart of patriotism in your heart to say, I owe this to my country. The reason rather, you are so educated, well spoken, well mannered, is because Zambia raised you. You know what I'm saying? Zambia, we have one thing that we have that we take for granted is the way we raise our children. We raise our children to be humble. We raise our children to be polite, to be kind. Not many countries do that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry to take most of your time, Brother Noah. Over to you, sir.
No, that's fine. I think it's important to, because I know like some of us who are in the diaspora, when we say something, it is usually looked upon that you are condemning, you are looking down. But
Right.
I think that part of the challenge that I see in Zambia is the mindset. I think the government needs to enforce and have a strong hand to ensure that at least things are moving in the right direction. Because look at the previous government, for instance, the type of nonsense that was happening where there was just cadreism almost everywhere. But I am particularly happy with this government in the sense that at least people can walk freely, they can dress however they want to dress. But one of the things that I think we need to do as a people is to ensure that at least the services, government services, in a way, there are some improvements, but it's a nightmare because one of my friends usually says, if you have to deal with a government institution in Zambia, make sure you drink Panadol first or caffeine because you have a headache.
Yes.
Because, for instance, when you go to this PACRA, you just know that it's a waste of time. If you go to these your licenses bureau or passport or whatever, you have to know someone in order for something to work, because it's like the people want to be bribed in order for them to do what they're supposed to do. And this is systemic, it's everywhere. It's not necessarily because people may look at the politicians and say, no, the politicians are corrupt, but I think the corruption is pretty much everywhere. Because when you're parking a car, somebody will say, oh, boss, parking any apa, you have not got 10 kwacha or 20, whatever. They want something.
Right.
So in every sphere, people want to be bribed. So government needs to ensure that at least they look into this, because it makes the country look very unorganized, because when the mindset, because this speaks to mindset, when we talk about mindset change, it breeds into the culture, because the culture that we presently have in Zambia, unfortunately, is the culture, yeah, boma yanganepo or nchekeleko. So the politicians, they want, when they go into these offices, they have, I mean, overnight, they have got all these properties, driving all kinds of vehicles. And it's also a mindset of inferiority complex, if you ask me, because it's not necessary that you have all these 50 cars or how many houses. No, just drive, be content with what you have. Unlike you want to own everything else on the expense of the poor. I think that's unfortunate. Of course, in Western countries, corruption is there, but it's not on the expense of people not drinking clean water. They practice corruption at a high level, not really people, if they have to construct roads, they will use just poor material and they pocket 60% of that. So it's inferiority complex. So I think the government needs to ensure that at least there is patriotism classes. People are taught to love their country. I like KK's philosophy of humanism, where you love your country and you internalize and you ask yourself, what is it that I can do for my country? Just I applaud you, Mr. Katuta, wanting to contribute to the betterment of the country by teaching, getting into the education sector so that you can give back. That is what we need to see people do. Not necessarily people always want Boma Yanganepo. No, Boma is not going to look at anything. As long as there is no war in the country, the environment is conducive enough where people are able to work. People are able to ask themselves, what is it that I can do for the country? Not necessarily, we Boma, no. And the culture of opening, we've struggled opening a bank account. We tried APSA, it's just a bunch of nonsense. They'll say, no, the forms, go and fill this. No, we are writing to the NRC to double check if the NRC is accurate, the information. It's just they will always come up with something to frustrate you. And just like you said, Mr. Katuta, that's impeding progress. Because for instance, why would banks frustrate somebody if they want to deposit money into the economy? Because when you deposit money into open an account, you are stimulating the economy. But unfortunately, our people don't seem to understand that. And then when some of us speak out, they will say, oh, those people in the diaspora, they are complaining. We are complaining because services that are supposed to be straightforward are not being provided. So with that, let's take a short break. And for those who are watching, if you have a comment, suggestion, put it in the chat. We'll be able to project it on our screen. So sit back, relax, and then we'll be right back in a few seconds. We'll be right back.
Achileka nishimike kastoleka kwa menichokela watu woiti marima na ulema iseworimba wiyaso na ulema no yalopa zedi susaka mbela tipauka nkona umbesla kubapana na makolo yeah oh yeah umutende utwaririre wazambe tutwaririre tiende pamozi ndi mutima umozi utwaririre omutende utwaririre tiende pamozi ndi mutima umozi magazaenda chalo chanje awe twalipalwa twalipalwa ifwe twalipalwa
They call me Chimoka ML, a voice for the voiceless.
Miko, station. Hey, we got more at the future generation. We do this for the culture, proud as a nation. We aim going global. This is elevation. Came from the bottom to build motivation. We aim for the stars, no limitation. Together we can rise, pure dedication. We sucker to the world, a strong foundation. We push every day for the big celebration. Proud every day for the culture. We are one, everybody capture. A press for the hustlers. We don't need a voucher. We push every day for the bag with sculpture. We broke all the chains, now we are free. We're chasing our dreams, we are meant to be. Back to back, now we can see. One by one, now together you and me. Yeah.
Welcome to Lusaka. Welcome to Lusaka. Welcome to Lusaka. Zambia Kutalo. Welcome to Lusaka. Welcome to Lusaka. Welcome to Lusaka. Zambia Kutalo. Eh. Zambia Kutalo. Eh. Zambia Kutalo. Eh. Zambia Kutalo. 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 Zambia Kutalo. Eh. Zambia Kutalo. Eh. Zambia Kutalo. Kutalo. Chasing goals, making flows, kill the pen, we just want yours. We pushing hard, wanna do the most. Work every day for the bag, of course. Pull up every day and we know they forget. I just wanna go to the top and live it. Zambia Kutalo, we gonna be the best. Every day my pal my team too blessed. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Many people count on me. What you see, God is waking up for me. Zambia Kutalo, we never gonna rest. Zambia Kutalo, we gonna be the best. Zambia Kutalo, we gonna see the check. Zambia Kutalo, we live for blessed. Eh, Zambia Kutalo. Eh, Zambia Kutalo. Eh, Zambia Kutalo. Kutalo, Kutalo. Zambia Kutalo. Eh, Zambia Kutalo. Eh, Zambia Kutalo. Kutalo, Kutalo. I feel blessed, I feel nice. God is changing my life. One day things will be fine. Like the stars I will rise. Welcome to my city. Everybody here looking plain, looking pretty. Never giving up, I can sing all day. Blessings now just come my way.
If you're just joining us, you are watching Diaspora Connect. This is your host, Noah Global. And at this time, you want to share the stream, invite your friends, your colleagues to join us in the conversation. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, please put it up in the chat and we'll be able to project it on our stream. So let's get back to our people there. So we see we have Mr. Langford Banda, who is also on the other side of the world. Mr. Banda, are you able to unmute and share your thoughts on our conversation here? Are you able to share your thoughts, Mr. Banda? All right, so I think maybe Mr. Banda may be having some technical challenges. So let's go back to, yeah, I think the country of Zambia has a lot to offer, and we can only hope for the best in terms of government services. I'm happy that passports are now done online, but again, coming up with all these initiatives, the government needs to ensure that at least there are seminars throughout the country to try to break this culture of the old way of doing things. I think in the biblical terms, the Bible talks about you cannot put new wine into an old wineskin. You cannot put new wine into an old wine skin. You can come up with all these processes, but as long as the mentality, the culture is the in the chekeleko boma yanganepo, then you're not
Mhm.
making progress. So that's basically what putting new wine in an old wine skin, because it has to be very extensive programs that start in elementary school, I mean in primary school, where people learn about the beauty and belonging, nationalism, being patriotic. So that feeds into the identity of a person from an early age. So this is why they say train a child in the ways that they should go, so that they will not depart. Unlike when you come up with this infrastructure, you find that the mindset wasn't prepared. So this is why we struggle with the simple government services. People want to be bribed. They do not want
So
just.
sorry, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Chibuye, your thoughts on
Mr.
the government bureaucracy,
Yes, yes.
all that.
Yes, sorry just for cutting you. So I would love to address what Mr. Katuta mentioned earlier about Pakra and those the kind of setup that happens in Zambia. So here in the UAE, uh, I would say the government has come up with a solution on how they can expand the broader network of livelihood of people, to a sense that they have come up with a situation where if you have a golden visa and you've stayed in the UAE for more than 20 years, they will give you like some hectares of land, whereas then they will tell you to build anything that you love to build, preferably it is in good accord and in line with the UAE company's rules and regulations. So, with regard to Zambia, like the way we've been saying, Boma GMO and all that stuff, I think that's the main reason why our country will take millenniums to develop, because we cannot develop if things are being done the way things were being done. Media time ya waka winning, I would say. Because the main reason why the US has decided to cancel or put Zambia on blacklist is that because anyone can access that national ID and can able to easily access the Zambian passport even from a foreign land. Take say for instance the UAE. People are using like the way the ATM card is like a chip. That's how people are accessing citizenships and everything. That thing, that chip holds every information about you. So take for instance your national ID, the NRC, not taking anything away from it, but I think it needs more programming. I think the Zambian government needs more people who are exposed, lack of better term, who are exposed like Mr. Katuta said. Things are just being done the way they feel like. People don't care because at the end of the day they know Zangena and they go home. They're not trying. They're not thinking about the broader perspective of what might be done in that accord. Because speaking of Boma IDM, I don't know if this is there in the US. Like people don't line up in queues, but on toll gates like tolls. Here, what happens is that there is more like a screen display and it shows the time. Like in the there's this street, the longest road in UAE is I think Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road. It stretches from the furthest point to the last point of the UAE, and it only has I think four or five peak hours of traffic. That's when you pay your tax, and you only pay your road tax. Um, I won't say paying it the way we pay in Zambia, where you line up and queue. There will be a camera that is going to track the license plate of the vehicle, and that vehicle should be registered to someone with the someone's ATM card or someone's bank card or bank account, rather to say, so that if any offense or any tolls it will automatically deduct from that account. If there's nothing in there, it's going to be now credited automatically. So now, if we start having these things in line as Zambia, we'll find out like 12 to 10 years from that will be better than the way we were, because things are just being done like I've said. Things are just being done like people don't care no more. Like politicians are now becoming, I don't know, just out of this world. Someone comes into office. Luckily, we have a president who's got a vision for the country. I'm not trying to be political or something, but I feel, even though I'm here, but I feel as if Zambia is going somewhere,
Yeah.
because things, we are just way, way behind technologically. Things are being done. Speed traps. You will never find the police trying to point, Uku. No. Things are done like everything is being placed. You even see something that is tracking your speed. It's going to tell you, please reduce your speed or you'll be charged. It's begging you because your life is precious at the end of the day. But if you look at our Zambian police, not taking away anything from them, they are doing a fantastic job. But they prefer you over speeding so that they feed from your money rather than trying to control you and tell you the way it's supposed to be. So, like the way you've mentioned it, Mr. Mdogo, where are we going as a nation? Over to you, sir.
It's it's unfortunate, but yeah, hopefully things uh, just like our friend here posted, as Africans, it's gonna take a while, but this is part of. See, we are not in any way condemning the country or the continent. No, in order to solve a problem, the rule says that you first identify the problem. When you identify the problem, you don't deny the problem. You say, okay, there is a problem. Now, when you identify the problem, now you look for alternatives or ways how you can overcome. So what we are simply pointing out here is that there are areas where there is need for improvement. And one of the areas is in the culture, the mindset, because the government is doing a great job, but I think the people need to help the government because the mindset of Nchekeleko, Bomayonepo is not helping. We need people to invest into technology. And for China, they don't even scream at every corner, Jesus, Jesus, overnight prayers or Papa. No, they invest in education, AI. They are teaching robotics, science, STEM. Unlike you say, no, we are going to talk to this prophet. No, no, no. I think even God himself or herself would be upset with the African continent because it's a continent that prays a lot. Because people think that it's blasphemy to study. They just want to know who pray. You cannot pray your problems away. You need policies. You need a plan. You can never pray your problems to go away. You can't pray your rent to go away. Come up with a plan. Come up with a process. So that's all we are talking about. We're identifying that there is need for improvement. And then some of us, I think one of the areas where I know I can do a better job in terms of contributing to the betterment of the country is through education, because I have seen quite a number of things, studied the process of education. It's just that I don't like politics. The president just needs to appoint me as a minister of education. I think maybe that's when things can work. Because the president just say, hey, we can come and sort out the education because there's a lot of sort of foolishness that is in there. Because education, for instance, yeah. So education, in just like in a minute or so, education, you identify the problems that you're having in a culture. Then you look at what is our capacity. What type of mindset do we need? What type of abilities, capabilities do we need to develop? What do we need to enhance? Do we need an analytical mind? We need to conceptualize. So you create all those things. Then you form schools of thought. You get the people to focus so that they study. when people study now, you are able to address and find solutions to your problems. The problem that Zambia has is not the problem that, for instance, the United States has. So when we talk about education, this is where I have looked at the education system in Zambia that if I would come up, I would scrap the curriculum. The curriculum doesn't make sense because it doesn't address the needs of the country, because you need to develop schools of thought that will speak to the challenges. So that is what we talk about culture. So I'm campaigning myself for an appointment or nomination. So I'll put it, I'll end there. But otherwise, the education it's a total mess in Zambia. It needs to be scrapped. You start from zero to create what China has. And my last point before I pass it over to Mr. Katuta is, when you look at China, China at some point was a developing nation. You had great leadership, Chairman Mao and everybody else, they come in, they start from the bottom up. When you look at China today, in the 72, Zambia and China were almost at par. But now, about 50 something, almost 60 years later, China and Zambia, it's in total different directions. The change was because the government invested into education. They changed the way they do things. So I think the schools of thought that we need for Africa is not just to say, oh, we want democracy. Democracy, like I say, it's a waste of time. You need to inculcate or introduce African traditional ways of doing things so that at least everything streamlines to address the challenges of the day. Not just to copy and paste. No, this is what is done in America. This is what is done, and this is what is being imposed by the AU or European Union. I mean, to hell with all those things. You have to look in-house. The answers to Africa's challenges are within her. So I know I've spoken a lot there. So for those who are just joining, if you have a comment, question, please put it up in the chat there so that at least we can get going. So Mr. Katuta, over to you. I know I've spoken a lot there.
No. Thank you. You see, every time you get to open your mind and speak, that is a service to our country. And I will be the first one to nominate you for Minister of Education, because I know you personally, and I have seen what you have done in the US. You are an amazing, amazing, selfless teacher who gives up a lot of your time just to try and make everybody's life better. Adding to what Benson was saying, mind shift, right? You know, the most frustrating thing for me is when I go into the CBD. For those of you who don't know, the CBD is in town where everything happens. What does it stand for? Central Business District? Is that what CBD stands for, right?
Yes.
When I go over there, and I don't go there unless I absolutely have to go there, you find people directing me where to park the car. I have seen the parking space myself. I don't need your help to tell me where to park. But the minute you park, they're like, na milanga boss, mama ne park, na milanga. So number, na mwalansanga na la ilonda na moto. No, I don't need you to wash my car. It's fine. They want to wash the car, and I did not ask for that help. And then when you come when you come back from doing whatever it is that you're doing, they expect you to give them something. That is why I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a limb and endorse right now Simon Moya for mayor of Lusaka. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, yes.
Simon Moya is a person I've met, and I follow him, and I always follow his program, his blog. And this is the man who has proven to me day in, day out that he cares about this country. And because Simon Moya is a diasporian like myself, I endorse him for mayor of Lusaka because I know he will make a change because he is as frustrated as most of us are about the way Lusaka is being run right now. Areas that used to be for parking are now markets. So people have turned Cairo Road into a market. So instead of having two lanes where you pass cars, you have one single lane because guess what? There are marketeers along the road that are selling.
Mm,
It's not only aesthetically disturbing to see that in the capital city, it is very risky. It's very dangerous, not only for the motorists, but for the people that are lining up in the middle of the road selling their whatever it is they're selling. And guess what? If you run one of them down, you are in problem as a driver. It happened to a friend of mine. A friend of mine got into an accident here because some idiot ran in front of her car. She hit him, and now she has to pay his hospital bills. She has to bribe the police so they don't harass her, and then she has to fix her own car. They have
that's
what we have
correct.
done.
Yes.
We've given so much clout, for lack of a better word. We've given so much clout, so much power to these pedestrians that they expect the cars to move out of their way for them. And it is sickening. So I think Simon Mwewa will make a change in Lusaka. I think that he will do what he can, and I only hope, and I know I could pretty much state that Simon Mwewa is not somebody who will be corrupted because he has the pedigree. He has the pedigree. His father was mayor. And Simon Moyer has lived in the US, so he understands what it takes to keep your city clean. So I think we should give him a chance because it is so disturbing to see what's happening in our beautiful city. And I think that as we move forward, I would like to extend this invitation to bring him on this show next time, Brother Noah, with your permission.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We hope to have him on our show so that at least he can speak to our audience and listeners, viewers, his intentions, his plans, because keeping Lusaka clean, because that's the capital. There is just so much. I mean, I watch him. I watch the videos, and Iwe Doba. I say that. So it's good to keep our country clean, and I'm just happy that he's actually running and looking forward for him to join us on our show. Now, let's talk a little bit about, before we conclude here, let's talk a little bit about the xenophobic behavior that again has sort of resurrected, sprang up in South Africa. What are you hearing have you heard anything, Mr. Katuta? I've been watching on social media where they do not the what's that thing? I forgot there's a term they use to sort of Operation Dudula. Operation Dudula is back. Unfortunately, any thoughts on that? Oh, Benson. Benson. Okay, yeah. So, have you heard what is happening in South Africa, Benson?
Yes,
The
yes. Actually, I've been following what has been happening in South Africa. Very, very unfortunate because Mr. Ndlovu, I think it's just recently when there was something that went viral,
Mhm,
circulating, saying other foreigners living in South Africa are
mhm,
behaving as if they are South Africans, except Zambians. So now you begin to wonder, stating that how are other people behaving like they are South Africans? That's where the issue is coming from. And then we cannot take away anything from the fact that these people are being violent because beating your fellow human being is just something that is uncalled for. I would say. It's just recently we overheard saying in I don't know if it's Northwestern province that a woman was killed, juju stuff. So now coming to a issue of xenophobia. If someone is not educated and someone has got the right to be educated, let's say for example, if I'm in the UAE, I have a craft, and Mr. Katuta has got a PhD in the same field. Do you really expect to have the same pay? That's a no. So those are the things that we as Africans should start considering putting in our minds, saying not each and every foreigner come to get your job. The best thing that you can do is come up with something, even if you don't have money, because people tend to have excuses saying, no, this is expensive, there's no money, but where there's a will, there's a way. You come up with a certain plan of advancing a craft, whereas blame anyone if they come and get your jobs. Because speaking of that, like I mentioned earlier, here in the UAE, the UAE consists of 80% non-Emirate people. Why am I expanding this point? It's because people are coming all around the world to be where here in the UAE. Speaking of my company, INEC, Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation, that company has got 5% Arabs, 95% foreigners, 80% being European people. So if the UAE was like South Africa, where would it be today? It can't be advanced like the way it is because everything is just out of this world. Whenever I wake up, I run like through the streets. Something catches my eyes, like wow. That's why people say exposure is pretty much good for a human being at some time
Mhm.
because now
Yeah,
they are
no,
seeing other countries. What are they benefiting? What are they gaining? Nothing.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Mr. Katuta, your thoughts on the xenophobia going on in South Africa?
Very, very unfortunate. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this xenophobia that's going on in South Africa. And we had a heated debate about it because I've experienced similar behavior in the US, where you have certain African Americans who feel that the foreigners that come to America come to steal their jobs, right? You have the Mexicans, you have the Africans, and there are certain African, not all of them, a significant portion that feel that these foreigners come to steal their jobs. But when you really do the research and you look into it, you'll find that the so-called foreigners who are stealing these jobs are doing the jobs that these African Americans don't want to do, like working in the farms, the heat, for minimum wage, like caregiving, where you have to spend basically 80% of your time caring for someone. African Americans are not willing to do this, and Africans are doing that. The farms, the landscaping, the construction, the Mexicans are doing that. These are jobs that most African Americans will not do for the wages that the companies are paying. So, to add to what Benson said, what you're experiencing in South Africa is very unfortunate because what South Africans need to remember, those who care to remember, I believe most of them are ignorant. And by most of them, I mean the ones that are actually trying to chase people out of their country. It was the countrymen and women they're chasing out of South Africa, whose countries supported South Africa so that South Africa can have independence. Zambia, Ghana. The last incident I saw was a South African person telling a Ghanaian person to leave my country and go away. If they knew what Ghana did for South Africa's independence, they wouldn't be saying those things. They would be offering their home to the Ghanaians. Because the reason you have the freedom, the reason you are able to run around in your streets, in your shops, the reason you're allowed to share a toilet with white people is because Ghana was at the forefront of making sure that equal rights were distributed among everybody, every South African. Zambia got bombed many times because we were what? Covering freedom fighters. You know, Zimbabwe. Most of these African countries have their economies reduced because of what we did to help South Africa gain independence. But you cannot argue. They say don't argue with the fool, because if you're arguing with the fool and somebody came to see that fight, they won't know which one the fool is, right? They
Yes, that's
say,
true.
don't fight with a pig unless you want to get dirty, because I'm not calling South African pigs. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm simply making analogies. There are a lot of South Africans, most of them who are friends of mine, that are reasonable and they appreciate what the world did for South Africa. South Africa's independence was a coalition of efforts, of intervention from the whole world for South Africa to be where South Africa is today. So the idea that you're telling people, go back to your country, make your country better, is ridiculous, insulting, and very sad and unfortunate. So I think that we need to allow for people to be who they are and allow the idiots to do what they do. But for the most part, I think South Africa is a very, generally speaking, South Africa is a very welcoming country, especially what they've done for our late president here, Edgar Lungu. They didn't have to do that, but they've gone out of their way to make sure that they accommodate the Lungu family. So there's some good and bad, but xenophobia is something that should not be allowed anywhere in Africa, because we are one continent that ultimately the prayer is that we'll be one country. And I'll leave it at that.
Yes, well said, well said. All right, so if you're just joining us, this is the Diaspora Connect. We are featuring Mr. Benson Chubuye joining us from Western Asia in the United Arab Emirates, specifically in Abu Dhabi. And we have my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Katuta, plugging in from Lusaka, Zambia. And I am up here in Trump Nation in Washington. So now, as we are finalizing, let's just I don't know. I usually try not to say anything about this because I think it's just a bunch of nonsense. Sorry to say that. The funeral for our late president, I think it has dragged on so long to an extent that now this is now becoming a circus. We hope that the family can come to some understanding with the government that the President Lungu was a man of the people and belonged to all the Zambians. So that's the thing, is when you are a public figure, you cease to be just for your family. Just like when we post things online like this, we open ourselves up for people to comment. Others will comment positively, others will comment negatively. That's part of the game. That's Simon Chitambala always said, you roll with the punches. So I think if I can use the same phrase, the Lungu family needs to roll with the punches and align with the government so that at least the former president could be put to rest, because his spirit cannot rest when this type of confusion, disturbance, disagreement, whatever term you want to use, is just unfortunate, because at the end of the day, the president served and he died. He deserves to be put in the ground with dignity, and the government wants to accord the family that. So hopefully that can be finalized as soon as possible, because it's long overdue. Your take, Mr. Katuta?
I just echo what you said. Basically, it is one of those things that uh, I hope people can be responsible, reasonable, patriotic, passionate, empathic, because this is it's a very delicate situation. I can understand on one end why the family says we don't want the Zambian government involved in the burial of our late uh, patriarch, if you will. Based on what he said, they're saying that President Lungu told the family that he did not want President Hakainde Hichilema anywhere near his body. He did not want, but there's nowhere where that is written, right? So if it was in writing and there was some sort of evidence of the president's wish, the former president's wish, then I would say they would have a case to argue. But they have nothing that states that. So at this point, what prevails is the norm, right? This man was a head of the country, and it is befitting for him to be buried as a former head of state. And it is something that I hope that the family, especially Tassila, who is also uh, her father's daughter in the sense that she has also been involved in politics, she would understand this more than anyone out of the family, because this man was a head of state for this country. So you cannot say we want to bury him in a private ceremony. You can't, unless he had something written and those were his wishes. Then you'd have an argument. So at this point is to let his soul rest, because as long as he's in that mortuary, in that freezer, and from my understanding, is that the mortuary where he is remains have been held has refused to take him back, because they're saying that we don't want to get involved. So now this man's soul is in purgatory. He's just out there floating. This man needs to go to rest. So the family should find it within their hearts to just say, let him be buried as head of state and put this to rest. And if it means, and again, I am no expert here or psychologist, definitely not, but if the president, the current president, were to find some amicable solution to sort of mitigate the situation, where maybe compromise, to say, let him be buried as a head of state and the president would just be a guest. He doesn't necessarily have to make a speech. I don't know, but there has to be closure to this. Otherwise, it's just going to linger on. We're going on to a year. The man died June 5th. We are approaching May. It will be a year soon, and that is no way to keep anybody's soul at rest. It's just not right. That's my take.
Thank you, Mr. Chibuye. Your take?
I think it is high time that we as Zambians should stop getting things personal whenever things like this happen. Why am I saying so? We all know the tensions that were there between the late president and the current president. The late president wanted so badly to put down the current president so that he doesn't rule this country. So now those tensions continued up until his death. You see, so now the family is involved, the government is involved, and the third party is involved, which is the South African government. And then the South African government doesn't want to take things personal because they're also scared. Maybe they might be taken to higher courts and things might not end well. But government to government, the family has no chance against the Zambian government, or rather the South African government. Why am I saying so? Like Mr. Katuta said, that person was not a family man. That person was a people's person. He was the president. He was the president for all. So he needs to be buried in a dignified way. This is not the first person who is dying as the former president. We all know the burial place of all the presidents. Why compromise that? We should start implementing things that need to be handled with strength. When we say this is what is supposed to be done to a president when the president dies, it is that. The first president who was buried there, if I'm not mistaken, should be the late Levi Patrick Manawasa. Up until the newest one was the late president Rufia Banda. We didn't have any conflict between the government and the family, but why start now? On my own perspective, I think this is kind of a political gain. People want to gain numbers over someone's corpse, and that on its own is abomination of no one can even think of. Mr. Ndewa and Mr. Katota. If you think about this thing, where are we going as a nation? Someone wants to gain numbers over someone else's body, and the family has got no say because the family has been blackmailed about it. That person in picture I'm talking about is Honorable Makebi Zulu. I'm not mentioning people here, but what he's doing is not right. And he has been clearly stating in all his press briefings saying the very day he is elected as the president, he's going to bring back the body. So now, are we voting because we want to see the body, or we are voting for the well-being of Zambia? That's the question to be asking ourselves. So people who are ill-minded will now start following lead because someone is doing something which is not right. Just this morning, I was following Mr. Dennis. I've just forgotten his other name. He was saying the people who are doing that, do they have families? Because if they have family, they should start sympathizing with the Lungo family. You can't mourn someone for a year. It's now going into, I don't know how you can call this. This is now circus, like Mr. Katuta said. It is now a joke. We are now a joke to the continent. Because now W, WC News, I'm sure it's WC News, published a post saying Zambians are not serious. So now, from a country which is serious, dealing with serious affairs, we're now focusing on someone who's supposed to be put to rest in Lusaka, and people are saying, no, let the wishes of the family be granted. If that person wanted to be buried in a private arrangement, why did he become the president of this country to begin with? It's just typical the same thing saying Donald Trump dies today, God forbid, he dies today, and the wife wakes up and says, we are going to bury him in our backyard. That doesn't happen. That can never happen. That's one thing we should start um, realizing as a nation because where is the tradition and the norms of this country? We are the tradition. We want someone for a certain period of time, we put them to rest. Like the way Mr. Njo you said earlier saying his soul is not has not rested. Maybe
Mhm.
speaking out loud, that's the reason why these people having bad lucks in their party. We see today it is the president, tomorrow Honorable Chavinga is the president, the next day GBM is the president, the other day Gideon is the president because there is no peace in this country. And then not trying to endorse someone or anyone, but I would say what Honorable Chavinga has done is actually kudos to him because he has clearly mentioned saying there will be no convention until he is put to rest because we need to respect that man. He was the people's person, he was the president, he needs to be buried in a dignified way and honor him with respect. So now, does the family want to take away all those things because he had conflict with a sitting president? No, to speak about that, the person who's supposed to be having grudges is the president because that man was being put to jails month in, month out. But he has told them to say, guys, let's do this. Please come in, let us put our heads together, let us find a solution to our differences. We sit down, we table down our differences, we move forward. Because these tensions are not going to change, they're just going to continue maneuvering up and down. It's court by court, court by court. There were rumors saying he was buried privately. Now, I don't know, it is now resurfaced again. Others are saying he was shot. Now it are saying no, he died out of natural causes, out of cancer. So now, what are we going to believe? This is now going as if it is a movie series of season one, season two, season three, season four, waiting for season five now. So I don't know your take, Mr. Kachutasan, Mr. Njova, about this issue, but for me, I think it is high time we as Zambians just let it slide, leave it. What the family wishes to do with the body, it's up to them because they're blaming the Zambian government, saying they want to do or rather to perform rituals with the body. How? The South African government conducted the postmortem. Other people started blaming the government, saying they were taking some body parts. How? So each and everything that the Zambian government is trying to do for the betterment of the Zambian people, it is backfiring to them and saying these people are evil people, which is not the case. And I will also second what Mr. Katuta said, saying if it is possible, the president doesn't preside. He's just as in a guest of honor, not the person presiding. If it can be done in their wish, I think to have a closure about this, I think it will be the best solution for this matter. I close.
Yeah, well said, well said. Yeah, so gentlemen, I think we'll leave it at that. And again, thank you for taking time to be on this conversation. So I'll give you 1 minute each. I think just your final thoughts. So talk to the people of Zambia and in the diaspora. What do you want them to know? Let's start with you, Mr. Benson.
I think with regards to the war happening here, I think everything is in place. The UAE government is not a lame government, and they are doing their very best to mitigate, find solutions to how this can be executed so that no more casualties are being recorded. So, to my fellow Zambians out there to travel to the UAE or Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah for business or leisure or anything, you are more than welcome because there are no conflicts happening. What you're seeing out there is just mere speculations, I would say. Someone wakes up and starts publishing things which are not verifiable.
Yeah. All right. So,
Yes, sir.
all right. So, thank you, Mr. Chipuye. Mr. Katuta, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Ndulovu. Benson, it's been an honor and a privilege to have this dialogue with you. I've always felt that if you want to move ahead, engage the youth because you guys are the future of this country. We are leaving this country in your hands, and to see that you're being exposed like that, it gives me, like I said before, it gives me hope to know that you're level-headed and you are interested in the politics of your country. Brother Noah, as always, thank you for your patriotism, your patience, the time you take out of your busy schedule, because I know you're very busy, to do this. It's something that you don't have to do, but you do it consistently and passionately. To my Zambians, both here and in the diaspora, all I can say is, I love you guys. And I'm very, very confident that one day we, the Zambians in the diaspora and the Zambians on the ground, will come together and hopefully, with the help of the government, allowing us to have that diaspora desk we've been asking for, to where we'll be able to exchange information, exchange ideas that benefit the country. I think that will be something that it's in our foresight and it will happen. But keep doing what you're doing, the Zambians in the diaspora. Continue helping your family members here because life is very difficult here. So that $10, $20, £50 that you send, it feeds a family. So te pakuleka pamuko sepo. And for the Zambians in Zambia, keep in mind that your people in the diaspora, they work very hard. They work very hard, and money is very difficult there because everything is expensive. We have rent to pay, we have car notes, car payments, we have insurance. So we don't always have the money. So only ask when you need. Don't ask to abuse. Because some of us Zambians in Zambia, we're living a life like we are the ones working in the diaspora. You ask for money, they send it to you, blow it in one day, thinking it will come again. So let's be responsible and caring at the same time. But what I would like to see is let's invest in each other. The Zambians in the diaspora, the first thing you should ask the people here in Zambia that ask for money is ask them, what kind of a business can you do? And if they come up with a business idea, invest in that idea rather than sending them money to eat. Because like the old philosophy said, give somebody a fish and they eat for a day. But if you teach them to fish, they'll eat forever. So let's keep that in mind. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Katuta, as always. And thank you, Mr. Benson. Hopefully we'll circle back to give us an update on what is happening in Western Asia. And this is Noah Ndlovu saying bye for now, and we'll circle back next month towards the end. The last Saturday, we do these programs the last Saturday of each month. So this is the last Saturday in the month of April. So now the next program, you can catch us again on the last Saturday in the month of May. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email, you can call us, you can come to us. You can come in person if you can. But if you have anything you want to share with us, please share to that information there. We are able to respond in good time. And then also, if you want to get in touch with WhatsApp, you can send a WhatsApp message as well. We'll be able to get in touch with you. But other than that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on remotely on your devices from every part of the world. And we thank especially our guest, Mr. Benson, and Mr. Katuta and I will be back next month at the same time, continuing the conversation where we left off. So thank you for now, and enjoy the rest of your evening, your morning, your afternoon from wherever you're joining us. It's bye for now. Thank you.
Welcome to Kuchalo, your leading online hub for Zambians at home and abroad. Kuchalo is a trusted source of news, lifestyle, and practical information tailored for Zambians near and far. What we are: a platform designed by Zambians for Zambians and friends of Zambians. Tight-knit, inclusive, and Ubuntu-powered. We bring you the latest news, travel and tourism insights, investment opportunities, educational resources, and uplifting diaspora stories. A community-focused, non-political space celebrating our heritage. What we offer: community stories, diasporans making an impact, a bias-free zone, calm, factual, resonance over sensationalism. Our approach is Ubuntu first, content that strengthens community, celebrates heritage, and brings people together. Clarity, relevance, and inclusivity. Voices from Zambia and the global Zambian family, where you'll find us. In Zambia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between. Kuchalo keeps you informed, connected, and inspired. Join the Kuchalo community today